se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. Eso baila y bebe. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar como meto yo.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and like always, our co-host, Gametime Bryan, is in the building. I should have made it a little bit more Oprah in the building. But either way, he is here. Gametime, welcome, sir. Welcome back, and here we are, another episode, off-season, the waiting game.
Here we are, man. What's going on, brother? How are you? Good morning. Good evening.
Yeah, exactly. He's all
drinking coffee. So
yeah,
good morning.
At least if you had a nap, at least it probably went better than the previous nap that you ended up having.
I did not nap.
No nap.
So that's drinking coffee. I did not nap. I would not have let it happen again. But,
I just gotta tease you. I gotta tease you. It's gonna happen one. That was it.
No, it'll happen again.
But it'll happen again. It's just to put it out there. And I think that's the Easter egg. Find it. When do you find it? Anyways, Isaac Ramirez is in the building. George Cowboy for life. Twiz is over there feeding the animals. Maybe he'll come back at some point. But Philly D is in the house, along with CZ and Joe DeMasi from Italy. And then our boy, Loyal.
Thank you very much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Oi! This is a private members bar. Exclusively for the supporters of the greatest football team in the world. Now please, enlighten me. Who the fuck are you?
That is a good question. And Scotty?
We're the fan club from Ohio.
These hoes ain't loyal.
And they ain't loyal, man. They ain't loyal. And that's my loyal tribute right there.
That's right.
That whole thing from
I got
Ohio
that.
and everything. And of course, Assman is here with Dirty Sanchez
Assman.
holding it down.
Assman?
And Jimbo, what's going on, Jimbo? The neighbor. That's what we're gonna, this at some point it's gonna be something in there. But Bryan, man, we're here. Many things to talk about. Nothing to talk about. I think you can go in any direction. I was gonna go with a subject, but then I was like, seeing that the last time we really did stick to the subject, I kind of like that a little bit more. And so really, we're just talking Cowboys. We're talking NFC East, talking football. Any general way you want to go. This theme, I kind of made it more around the wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, of course, Pickens with the nice catch, and then I think some guys that are very, very good in the sense of the supportive role. Turpin, of course, the punt returner, and then of course just brings speed. And then you got the other Jalen's that are trying to just make the third or fourth wide receiver. So kind of wanted to rotate it around so we can just kind of keep coming back to it. But from what you saw in camp, and I think I can kind of say this as well too. What is your take on George Pickens joining this wide receiver corps?
Wow. George Pickens has been a breath of fresh air. Definitely not what everybody thought, on the surface, because you're always going to get the negative, Obviously, it came out that he forced a trade. They were trying to keep him. Aaron Rodgers is not necessarily happy that they're without a talent. Let's be honest. George Pickens is arguably the best deep ball receiver.
Well, they got DK Metcalf, right? So, I mean...
They did. But imagine having DK. It's okay, so you have DK, but then you take away George, right?
Yeah.
They made a business decision.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like when
bringing him back, but are you going to win?
Yeah.
My thing is to you, Phil, when you talk about the Steelers, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, okay? We heard that Aaron Rodgers was number 3 on their list. They went out and they drafted Howard from Ohio State, not in the first round, but they did get him, Will Howard. But they wanted to bring in Matt Stafford via trade. That was their first option. When that didn't work out and he went back to the Rams, believe it or not, they focused all their attention on bringing back Justin Fields. That has since come out. Justin Fields did not work out. He would rather go to New York. Mm-hmm. So I ask everybody else. Then they went and got Aaron Rodgers. right? Meaning the Steelers. And if you're going to go Aaron Rodgers, why not keep even for a year? We only gave up what, a 5th round draft? I mean, what do we give up for Pickens? I don't know.
I really think that their whole strategy was in the draft. No, what did we give up for Pickens? A 5th? Yeah. What was it? No. I apologize.
Was
a
it
third?
I
want to say a third. I want to say it's a third.
And Is that what it was?
Third and a 5th.
I don't know why.
It's just like slipped. But I think it was a third just because like we thought, hey, if they get signed, we'll get that third back, that kind of thing, or a 4th.
Maybe.
And I think that's where it was at. It was like so long ago, man.
Third and okay. Thanks, Ultra. Yeah, I don't know why I had a brain for it, but Phil obviously had the same one. So, all right, so we gave up a third. So I
didn't know there was gonna be quizzes and shit. I was like,
I mean, I get why they did it, but why bring in Aaron Rodgers? You're in a win now mode. Yet, and now you're hearing.
I think it's more of a. When I look at them, I think their whole strategy was to try to get. They really probably thought Jackson Dart was going to be there, but later on, and maybe in the second round or something. I don't even know why you didn't take the shot in the beginning because they had him available. So I think they may have thought that he was going to slip. I don't know. I feel like the draft was going to be the answer, and that's. And then of course Aaron, I don't know, man. That whole thing, like he doesn't want to practice. Is that why was there actually negotiation? Was it more the Steelers were like, oh, okay, fine, I guess we'll settle for Aaron? It's just when I look at DK Metcalf and I compare him to George Pickens. I mean, a lot of people can tell you that DK has some questionable hands at times. Big body receiver, definitely nice and everything. But there were some times where you thought he could catch some of these passes and. He was dropping stuff, and where Pickens is on the opposite side. So what we got Twiz over here saying? Make sure to send us a Father's Day card. We your daddies. Go Birds. Nicely done.
Hey,
nicely done.
It is for right now until we put boot to ass September 4th. That's what we gotta hope. But it is what it is. But yeah, so, we just talk about George Pickens. Now we're hearing that he forced the trade. He didn't want to be a part of that mess. That coaching staff, everybody wants to mess on Dallas, but what has Mike Tomlin done? What has he done that deserve his job for all these years? I mean, the fans of Pittsburgh aren't happy. I know that, but whatever. We'll worry about our Cowboys.
The moment that you get DK, I mean, you're complimenting. I thought that was going to be a heck of a combination right there.
That would be where we are.
Yeah.
With CD, you took a lateral move. DK's good. DK may be better down in and down out than Pickens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The DK is better in the 50-50 balls down the field. I think Pickens is second to none. That's why it's such a perfect fit. The whole off season, I was like, I would love Pickens, but we're hearing all the negative. I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with the negative. But then he's been nothing but a model citizen. Pickens is the first guy at practice. He's early to meet. He's early. He's leaving late. I mean, he's doing everything he can. I get it. He wants to get paid, but okay. Dak loves him.
Well, he's doing all the right things. Let's be real. I mean, these combinations of stuff is like what makes you a good receiver. What's going to make you successful early in the season? Well, it's going to pure as hell be the connection that you have with Dak, and of course, it's going to happen to be our offensive line that's going to have to hold to get the ball out there. So I mean, it's a combination of a couple of things, but I do like the possibility. Especially, it's not like Pickens was replacing CeeDee Lamb. It's not that same thing with the whole Steelers situation. And so you're just complimenting. I think I'm just interested to see how the whole dynamic works in general, because I mean they got a lot of weapons there, whether it's the running backs, tight ends, Span Ford. I'm really excited with Span Ford possibility this year, and I know that's weird to say, but I think if you're a true Cowboy fan, I think you're excited as well. I mean, Luke Schoonmaker, nothing against him, but he can still really surprise you. I think. I mean, he has the pedigrees to do everything, but I'm really excited about the second tight end. And, I know Jacob Ferguson is there, and he's gonna, possibly have he's gonna possibly have a comeback. I don't want to just say he's gonna have a comeback. I need to see it. It's just one of those things where he kind of disappeared a little bit last year, but again, the quality of quarterback and all that kind of stuff, I question that as well too. So, Spoon liquor. Yes, exactly.
Here we go.
Catch crabs. Hey, man,
Here we go, guys. No, I'm not saying that. I just, it sounds to other teams, fan bases, that here we go again, right? Listen, I'm not telling you how our defensive line, I can't tell you how that's going to shape up. I know we're going to be good, but I don't know how great we're going to stop the run. I don't know that. I think we'll be better, but that's an assumption.
And I hope we'll be better.
I don't know how our run game's going to be. It can't help. Our run game's going to be better, but I don't know. You're asking me who the bell cow is. Well, we don't have a bell cow. All of a sudden now, you have to have a bell cow. There's like 3 bell cows, if that, in the whole league. And if you don't have one because one is in our division, it's a bad thing. No, it's not. But
I question it, Ultra, because me being a quarterback, what's their number one guy, the tight end. So when I look at a tight end, I get more excited about that than Schoon Liquor. Not to say, because I like Luke though. I thought coming out of college, he had a hell of a blocking, he had good catching. So I don't mean to say that span forward can't catch. I mean that's I don't know about that.
I think he came on. Wait, who said he can't catch?
Ultra says he can't catch.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I like what I'm seeing early on at camp.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff where
going to be a part of it.
What I like is that when he was running a route and Shotty goes, I need you to cut in tighter, and what he's talking about is the route. Like he comes out, he needs you to run across the in front of the linebacker, where he was kind of going around where the middle linebacker would be. So, I like that. I like that Shotty's already telling him, hey man, start cleaning that up because you're gonna, that could be a turnover like that.
Can't catch. Watch his hands. Yeah. I don't know that he can't catch.
Dude, I've seen a lot of catching.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. He may not have the best hands, but I know he can catch. He caught some balls towards the end of the year last year. But regardless, Wade.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. The tight end position is not bad. I mean, it's definitely better than... nothing against Hendershot, but I mean, again, he was a good one. But I think by that point, I always had this one where he would just turn something over, or he would mess up and get a flag at a wrong situation. And I need somebody to have more discipline and a little bit more in the running game, So, but anyways, when we go back to these wide receivers, each one's going to have their role. I don't think one's over the other, and I know there's a couple of them that may have the same type of pedigrees, but when you look at what Pickens, I like the fact that Pickens does a little bit something that CD doesn't do. He comes back to the ball. He goes and locates the ball, and not to say against CD, but CD has to be still in stride in order for him to get going.
Good luck. That's all I can say. All this shit talking is going to come to an end soon. And I just hope that we're healthy enough to be able to see it through. All the shit talking is going to come to an end. You're actually going to have to play against CD and Pickens, go up against that offensive line that everybody wants to malign. And now you start out with the Cooper Beebe, who's coming off of unbelievable rookie year with the all-world left guard. Now you got Tyler Booker. I'm loving that. I'm loving that start. We have question marks. Of course we do. Our left tackle.
You haven't watched him for the past 2 years, dude. You don't have any idea. Like you're going off of what a guy in college was supposed to do. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Like, and you're going off like you have to let them get into the NFL, especially a guy like Shotty getting a hold of him and everything. I don't know, man. I think that's a little bit too negative on somebody that hasn't really been able to show anything. And when he showed stuff last year, was he dropping passes? I don't remember a whole lot of that. I remember a lot of inaccurate passes and stuff. But I get more excited about Span Ford than I do about Luke Schoonmaker. And Schoonmaker was a second round draft pick. So what do you want to go with that one? So
Scooty.
Everything in college says that he should have done it in the NFL. Well, he hasn't done it yet.
6'7". I just want to remind everybody who we're talking about. Brevin Span Ford, they gave him, I think, one of the most amount of free agent money after the draft last year. That's why he came to Dallas. They paid him like $500,000, I want to say, something like that.
What's up,
Brevin Span Ford is 6'7", 270-pound tight end who could block his ass off, and he's learning the pro game. He is. I mean, he's not where he needs to be, but
no.
he's having a great offseason.
Well, he's not a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, what we're talking about is a guy who's been being praised by Brian Schottenheimer.
Really.
Over and over.
Oh, no, that was easy. That was right. That was easy. Really.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, I love the young guy. Again, is he a Jason Witten 2.0?
Polished? No, nowhere. I mean, unfortunately, I'd have to probably give him more of a Rico Gathering kind of thing going right now until he can prove anything. Remember Rico
he's better than
Gathers?
Rico already, because
Well, I
Rico
think so,
couldn't
too.
block. Remember?
Yeah, that's
Rico
true.
couldn't block. Rico's
And that was
problem
the whole
he couldn't
kind of the
block and
biggest
couldn't
thing.
run routes.
Yep.
And I think that's where Spanford is getting better. But what we're trying to say is our tight end group is pretty darn deep. When you start out with Ferguson, you got Schoonmaker, you got Brevin Spanford, and then let's not forget Princeton Fant. You know.
And then there was Joe Stevens. I keep losing his name.
Stevens
John
Jr.
Stevens. I'm like, man, I keep losing his name because he keeps disappearing. And he's just like, anytime he has anything going, it just, boom, disappeared, injury.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And then you got Hunter Lepke, who plays the H-back, basically. I don't know if Hunter makes the team just based on coaching staff. I would hope so. But, I think injuries are going to play a part coming down the stretch.
That's when you put Spanford back there at the fullback position. Boom.
6'7", 270, and he's out there making plays in the albeit in
That could be that guy. That could be that guy that's making the plays and then disappears totally when the preseason starts and all the season. So, I mean, hey.
I mean, he's also a guy where you come in the goal line package, right? You got Javonte Williams in there, or whoever, and he's on the goal line. You bring him in as an extra blocker, You don't need to bring in an unathletic offensive lineman. You got 6'7", 270. He's bigger. I mean, he can play the edge. So, shit, I like it. I like him. But, again, we're just talking about some players that maybe some people aren't that aware of.
Yeah.
And Brevin Spanford has been turning heads at
there you go, Drew. I think that's what it is. Drew hits it right here. He goes, the tight end positions is deep, but it's very unproven. Yeah,
of course.
That's the truth.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree. But, I mean, Drew, I think that our tight end...
big.
What's that?
Yeah, ultra. Jason Peters had better hands than Spanford. Man, you take your girl or something? Like, you just all mad about it and stuff?
Yeah.
A little personal there. Let's see. CZ says, Blue could be your Devontae. He did it amazing. Did he do so well the next following year? Or was that like Archain?
Well, he was banged up a lot. Again, I don't believe A-Chain's I don't know what everybody
He's not
wants.
a 4 down.
He's on a 3 down back. Yeah, not many people are.
Yeah.
Like, teams don't want a 3 down back anymore unless you have a Saquon. And, it's great to have a Saquon, but he's one hit away, and then what? I mean, you're going to go with the other guy you got? I'm okay. I guess I'll be okay, but he ain't Saquon.
Hey, Ultra, I just know that if he starts to be successful, you, of all people, are
you're
not
be
allowed. You are not allowed to jump on his bandwagon. I'm just say that right now. You are not allowed to jump on his bandwagon if it goes the other way. Okay?
Got fired. Coming for your meats.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. It's just everybody has that NFL possibility. I mean, there's a reason why undrafted free agents out of Dallas constantly make Pro Bowls and all that. Well, I mean, one, we force them into having to be the starter, so that's a bad thing. But at the same time, like, he's a possibility that he might be a starter, depending on what's going on with that tight end position. And I'm not talking about the starter as number one because obviously it's gonna be Jake. But if they do 2 tight end set or something like that. Yeah, he gets that credit, but I'm big on the wide receivers. I just think if you're not giving him full focus and he's kind of not the main focus of the of that offense or the defense having to take him out of the game, I think he can be very successful. Mark Hutchton says, "Good evening, Primetime and Game Time. What is going on?" Let me hit you guys with
Mark Hutchton. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Insert cash or select payment type.
Sonic Boom!
Game tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Fergie was top 15. He just had injuries, right? He had a lot of injuries last year. The quarterback possibility wasn't as great for him. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can make a bounce back. I mean, he has the pedigree, but again, he has to prove it. You know.
Well, listen, I believe in Brevin Spanford because why? We got Shawty. Sorry, we got. I don't know. Hopefully, you guys heard that, but we got Brian Schottenheimer. So I like Shawty. Joe Tranchina from Italy. What's up? He's from Itoly. Phil. Joe DeMassi's from California.
So I have it all backwards then. My bad.
Joe Tranchina is from Italy.
That's what it is. Okay, so now I got to get it in there.
Yeah, that's it.
So
again, it is what it is, man. We're all entitled to our opinion, right?
Oh man, facts. Not even facts, man. He's a second round draft pick. You guys are debating right now, second round draft pick and a undrafted free agent. Of course, you're gonna win that little thing just by saying that, you know. But until I can get them both on the field, actually going against competition, it don't mean anything. Because guess what? Neither one of them has done anything. So guess what? They're even.
I know what Shotty likes.
I'm just saying, I don't remember Shotty talking about Luke Schoonmaker.
Anyway, I think we spent too much time on on
Spanford. I think I'm about to make an episode of just Spanford. How about that? I'm gonna make an overlay and everything, man. Just give him all his kind of credit.
All right, Ultra, just remember this. Just remember.
Yeah, you're not allowed to jump on that bandwagon. I'm just saying. Because I mean, it's like my guy on defense is Wanye Thomas. You know, it's there's a lot of people that are going to say negative things about that whole situation.
Joe, we understand, brother.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's totally. And we're so inconsistent, Joe. Let's be real, man. It's like we're on Friday and then we're on Saturday and then on Sunday.
Nobody's saying Schoonmaker's bad. Why does one have to be versus the other?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the thing about it is Joe DeMasi, like his college career says that he should have been able to do it right off the bat, but he hasn't. Like that's the thing. Like Michigan, he blocked, he caught touchdowns. As soon as he came here, he's like, I don't know. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. And so yes, his potential is supposed to be there, but it hasn't been. You know, right now he is just on the exact line of second round draft picks that have not done anything other than what Diggs. So,
yeah.
So I mean, I poke at that, but it's just, what's that?
No, we're talking about
Twiz. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. All of those guys just need reps, right? Secondary guys, you know.
All I know is our coach is talking up Spanford. He ain't talking up Scooney right now. Scooney better get his act together.
Well, and
I like him, but it's a deep room.
Yeah.
So,
well, I hope they both succeed, honestly, to tell you the truth. So,
obviously.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to, and I was talking, when I was talking about the wide receivers, we're talking about Pickens, we're talking about CD. Who is that third wide receiver for you? You know, what one pass there, because there is some people on this roster. Is Tolbert that guy? Some people would think Turpin would be more utilized than Tolbert. You know, is Turpin more of a substitute when somebody's not available? You know, like all of a sudden the Pickens comes out. Now we went out that deep threat. You know, we get Turpin over there. I mean, what do you see that in the mix? Are you still seeing him do reverses and doing all that crap?
Yeah, I think Turpin is going to. Yeah, he's going to get the ball a lot more this year under Brian Schottenheimer, especially when you go up against a defense who's crowding the line of scrimmage. Yeah, they're going to stretch it east to west, loosen her up a little bit, and then that's when you go downtown. Yeah, I think they're going to use them all over, in my opinion. So I definitely think they're going to use them all over. Big Fatty, who are you, Crumb?
Now, if you're gonna if you had to guess, and I'm gonna say it in general, who would become that third down wide receiver? Do you think that Dak is gonna eventually rely on when I need that? I
think it's gonna be third down wide receiver. I think it's always gonna be CD, but I think. Like we were talking earlier on my lunchtime chat, I think the interesting battle is going to be Tolbert versus Mingo. I think Tolbert still has the inside step, but Mingo, they want to succeed. They gave up draft capital for Mingo, Tolbert, they actually drafted what, third round, fourth round? Maybe they were both fourth round picks, I think. Or I mean,
technically it is fourth round. Yeah, we gave up a fourth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
and I
was
think we
drafted in
all
the
are.
second.
Am I sipping on tequila? No, man. Really? That's the one thing I don't sip on. I don't do no tequila, man. That is like, whoo. I have had some bad experiences. What happened? I said I had a bad experience. Like, Primetime.
I can't drink Southern Comfort anymore. I can never drink Southern Comfort.
Going to be CD on the reverse, throwing up a TD do. George Pickens. That's actually pretty good. A nice little.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ulster. And we say that, and Tolbert had a pretty good year last year. You know, I mean, I think it's going to be Tolbert versus Mingo for that number 3. And yeah, Mingo has an opportunity, but Mingo's not going anywhere unless he's just a complete flop, and I don't see it. He's actually doing well as well, albeit in
Well, I mean, we all kind of think that. Obviously, you got Pickens, Lamb, Mingo, Tolbert, Turpin, and then is that Brooks? Is it who's that possible 6th wide receiver that's going to be on this roster?
Brooks is on his way out, man. You know, I think, and don't forget Flournoy.
That's what I'm saying. There's who's that other guy?
Brought up Flournoy, and I forgot all about him.
Yeah,
what the hell is a Flournoy?
What it is?
I forgot all about him. So it's like, again, this is another area where we're deep as shit. We're very deep. It's why I said, just by adding Pickens, everybody slides into their proper role, and now it's a battle between Mingo versus Tolbert. They're going to get a lot of playing time because you're not going to see much of Pickens or CD, if at all, in the preseason as far as games go. They'll get some practice, but it'll be Mingo, it'll be Tolbert. You know, I think Tolbert will go and get a contract somewhere. You'll get a.
Hopefully we can trade him. Hopefully we can trade him off, if anything, get some value out of it.
I don't think that's how Dallas operates. Dallas will hold him, and he'll go, and we'll get a 4th or 5th round comp pick depending on what he signs for. You know, and I don't think his numbers are going to be through the roof because
I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility just because he's still on that rookie contract. It's when they pay him that second time, they pay a person the second time that they're not willing to walk away sometimes because they're like, that's the bigger money. So
Drew, we'll see. Just remember them words, Drew, when we got 2 100-yard receivers on your ass in the same game. Again, when you add an interior offensive line like we did.
When were we saying the wide receivers were terrible? Okay.
Well, no, we were talking about we needed a number 2. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that was our main thing. At number 2, we didn't have a number 2. Yeah.
Now we got 2 number 1s, and we got Jalen Tolbert and Mingo. Jalen Tolbert had 6 touchdowns and 700 yards last year. That's nothing to, you know.
I don't think he didn't say that. He said he wants to for his own personal thing.
Dak saying his team wins the Super Bowl. No, he didn't.
That he didn't say that.
Thanks for the super chat. He said he needs to win a Super Bowl for his mental state, basically. I used his exact quote on my thumbnail this morning.
Joe DeMasi wants to know, he says, what do you guys think about the safety position? I'm not too worried about our offense. It makes sense. I mean,
I think the way it looks, right, Phil?
I love the safety position. I'm happy about possibilities.
He's already hammering your boy. He's already hammering Wanya. He's saying he's a special teamer.
Nah, man, no. If you ever watch him in Georgia Tech, he was a.
I don't know where Wanya fits this year. Honestly, I don't know where they're gonna play him.
I think the safety linebacker kind of whole mixture that they like to do. I think that'll be him. But I just, you can talk all you want, but it's just like you look at his career. He has a lot of where he makes the ball, come the other way and gives it to the offense. Whether it's special teams, whether it's defense, it's just something happens when he's on the field. I'm not saying that he's got this all-star talent and everything like that, but there's something happens when he's on that field, and he's definitely benefited in his career. And yeah, why wasn't he drafted in certain spots? I totally get it, but at the same time, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. And I'm really excited about what he's going to bring to this defense.
He's got to win a playoff game, Drew. One game at a time, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm not jumping on that guy. A grenade.
Yeah. Now one game at a time, man. We're just trying to put boot the ass on September 4th, and then we'll go from there. But like all kidding aside, you know, I just think you go from having CD and literally nothing else. Brandon Cooks was hurt last year, and when he played, he wasn't very good. Okay, then you're relying on Jalen Tolbert and a bunch of what the hell is a Flournoy. Now you're bringing in George Pickens. He's a number one receiver.
Yes, I do.
So you have CD and George Pickens. Okay, who do you think that third? If you know, Jalen Tolbert, who was almost had a good a year stat wise, almost as Devontae Smith, and he's not, and he would be our third or fourth wide receiver. So that's what we're talking about. And then you had a late season addition to Jonathan Mingo. It was pretty ill. Then you got Kevontae Turpin, who's the fastest man in the NFL, who for some reason Mike McCarthy chose not to use him very often. And when he did, he was successful.
Yeah.
He led the NFL in punt returns and kick return. You know, he was the best special teamer in the league. So I don't know.
So
man.
I wanted to go back over to the safety position because I think that's kind of an unanswered question there.
Sorry,
just because obviously the wide receiver are going to keep coming back to. But when it comes to these safeties, I mean, I can understand everybody's questions about it. I mean, Wanye hasn't been a starter yet, you know, and so I get it. He was losing to what though? He was losing to pretty high competition at that time. But Hooker, I think a lot of people have questions about how is he going to be? Is he still
He's steady?
He's still there.
Steady. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go continue. I mean, Bell.
Yeah, I think Hooker is steady. I don't have a problem with Malik Hooker. I'm just always looking to upgrade. I think he's good. I don't think he's enough of a ball hawk that I would like, but he's good. I mean, you know, where I don't know, and this is where I'd like to pick Ultra's mind here. Yeah, the game time, the gold standard. I'm getting in trouble for keep going back there.
I know,
just
man.
pound the chat, Ultra. Just pound it. I agree with you. But I don't know where Donovan and Ultra help me out with this with Phil. Donovan Wilson. Does Donovan Wilson make this team, and how does he fit with Eberflus? Because you know they could save like big time, like over $7 million if they cut him.
Yeah.
So my question is, do we keep Donovan Wilson, or does Wanye Thomas or somebody slide into there, or somebody else? That's the thing. I don't know. It's a very interesting group, is our safety group, because there's a lot of bodies, but I don't know who's going to come out.
And I agree, and I kind of agree with you in the sense that, like, Malik Hooker is that consistent, and I'm not saying that he's the best, but he's consistent, and he always gets an interception when we really kind of need it at times, and but yeah, kind of Donovan Wilson's kind of that. I think is a mystery really, because I think he could stay on this roster and be a weapon. He's shown it even when he bounced back and everybody was kind of ready to kind of move on, because we had some guys back there and he was coming in, he was playing, he was balling. He's just a bullet, right? He just slinging himself or throwing himself around, and of course he gets injured by that point. I think that's a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of Overshown. Overshown's a little bit faster and a little bit more instinctively going for the ball, where Donovan, he has a little bit bigger hitter, right?
I mean, let's go over the safeties here. Just looking at the roster, you got Wanye Thomas. You think he's more of a Malik Hooker? More of a cover guy, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and so that's why I would think that he's not really technically a starter. He would be whatever when Hooker comes out, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you saw, but they have Israel Mukwamu listed as a safety.
I think that's
I like him, but he was playing corner the other day on George Pickens, and George Pickens went inside. Then he made a move to the outside. And Mukwamu was folded up, laying on the ground, not hurt, but just route random out of his cleats, and Pickens caught a bomb for a touchdown. So I don't know. I think he's a better safety. I don't know. I guess they're just OTAs. They're just trying people everywhere. I like Mukwamu, but he sure as hell didn't. Again, there's no pads on. But I like Wanye. I don't understand why he can't get a foothold. Um, but Donovan Wilson, 6'2", 204, not a big guy, makes a lot of mistakes. He's good in the run game, still makes mistakes. Donovan Wilson's always giving plays up over.
He is
over his head. I think there's a chance.
Well, because he's a strong safety. He's not a free safety. He's
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's why I said who would be. All right, so who would be Malik Hooker's competition? Is what I'm saying. Wanye and not Marquise Bell.
Yeah, Marquise Bell's always. I don't know. I think he's
To me,
good,
he's
and
the
I think he's
special
amazing.
teamer
But
extra guy.
yes, and I'm just I
You know what
thought
I
he did
mean?
an
I
amazing
don't
well
think
job
Malik's
for being a
going nowhere.
linebacker, for being basically a linebacker. I was like, man, how he did not get hurt. I was beyond me. And when you Israel Mukwamu, you talk about him being on the outside. I totally get it because there were some times where we needed him to kind of step in, be that outside corner, and he did an amazing job. And so I think that's why I get what you're saying in that sense. But yeah, they do list him as a safety, and I do like him when he's roaming around back there because he's tall. So it's less likely that there's somebody's going to get behind him than some of these other guys. So I get it, and I understand why maybe people aren't threatened by this safety room either. But again, we've had some times where our safety room was trash for a long time. So I mean, and it's not at least trash. At least it's definitely serviceable. How about that?
Well, I will say that we got a guy named Elijah Clark out of Syracuse. And I believe Holter brought him up. Elijah Clark has been getting a lot of run too. He is Elijah Clark is 6'1", 187, but dude is like he's all over the place, and I think he's gonna make the team. I don't know. This is where I get it. Like, you can't keep a guy like Elijah Clark and let our CJ Goodwin go. I mean,
oh my God,
we'll have to see. But I mean, Elijah Clark. Just remember that name. He wears number 38 out of Syracuse.
There was
Just
a guy.
remember that.
There was a guy from my work. He was talking about I work in AV and stuff, and so he's talking about a previous person that he used to work with. He says, yeah, my dad used to play for the Cowboys and everything like that. And they're like, oh yeah, what's his name? And so he was telling me, but when he was telling me, because he's a Patriot fan, he was saying it, asking me if I knew who it was, and he goes, yeah, his name was Bill Bates.
Oh.
And I go, oh, like that. He goes, oh, do you know him? And I go, oh, trust me.
Do I know him?
Trust me, he is
him?
very known in Cowboys
Bill
history.
Bates, baby.
And then he goes, oh, really? I didn't know if you knew because I heard that he kind of like. Man, I go, man, he was part of those Super Bowl teams, and he was part of the teams that like won games too. So he kept you drop him off the roster to get picked back up, drop him off the roster to get picked back up, during the training camp thing. And but yeah, his. I thought that was so cool because he was like, do you know him? I'm like, oh, do we know him?
know him.
Yeah, I guess the son was very
man.
humble. The son was humble about it and saying, we go to the
Cowboys
games.
lore, come on now.
Yeah.
Well, then again, Phil, a lot of these young kids don't remember any. We're not young, but a lot of these kids don't remember the greats. It's sad, but it's true. So, and he was a great, people. He may not be. He's not in the Hall of Fame great, but he's great in Cowboy land, that's for sure. So, what do you got next?
No, I'm
chat?
just listening to the chat, just laugh. I don't want to bring stuff up or anything like that. So let them have their kind of battle. Oh shoot, hold on.
Yeah, battle it out. Clemente, what's up? Elijah Clark contract was the highest out of all undrafted free agents. Yeah, and I like both of the guys we got from Syracuse. We got two dudes.
When I looked at Clark, I understood why he wasn't drafted in that sense. But at the same time, I kind of thought he might have been a 6th or 7th rounder. If you weren't trying to, negotiate with any of that stuff. So when I watched this tape, it's impressive. I saw a lot of holes, so I get it. But again, but I'm trying to think of really kind of go back to when I was actually doing the draft, and we were, kind of scouting these guys, and he was kind of stood out on the page, and he was always kind of that guy that I drafted later on.
I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't on any of my radar until after we drafted him, and then you start seeing and reading about him, and I'm like, okay, but now you see him on the field, and now it's
always different when competition comes around,
and his confidence is sky high, and he just has an air about him. That's all. I'm just saying he's a guy to look out for. Not saying he's going to Canton. Not saying he's making pro. I don't know if he's going to make the team, but I'm saying he's a guy that I like. You know, him and Justin Barron. They got a linebacker out of Syracuse who I think is a good practice squad candidate. Justin Barron is another thumper, 6'4", 225, downhill.
Jay Smooth wants to ask.
55.
He wants to push us back to the wide receiver position, which is definitely fine. That's our boomerang topic. So we're coming back around. We're coming back around. Jay Smooth says, "Hey, Primetime, do you think Mingo makes the roster, Cowboys roster?" Yeah, we definitely think so. The third or fourth receiver is most likely he's going to be his position.
Yep.
So I'm pretty excited to actually kind of see what he's going to be able to do within this offense. You think he'll be the third?
I think he'll be the fourth wide
I think
receiver.
fourth as well. Yeah.
I think he'll be 4, and then he has a chance to overtake, like Alter was saying, he could eventually be in trouble. I think Mingo needs time. And Dak, you know how Dak is. Mm-hmm. Dak ain't going to take a shot with you if he don't know, you know. He would rather force it into a guy who's draped because he knows him rather than throw it to the open guy that he don't know. That's one of Dak's, in my opinion, one of his downfalls is he tries to force it too much instead of just going with the open guy. But whatever. I'm just not. Wade's not here, so we don't need to hammer Dak. But, you know. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Holden? Well, Phil could talk to him. I don't know much about
I loved watching him in college. Again, being an alum, I was watching. I was very critical of Dylan Gabriel. I didn't think he was a good quarterback, but man, what made him a good quarterback?
He may not make the team.
Yeah, what made him a good quarterback was honestly was those wide receivers. He had 3 to 4 wide receivers that just were awesome. And guess what? Holden was that third wide receiver. I think he was just kind of the forgotten one. But when he threw, if you look at his stats, you look at all those plays, they had to kind of like, okay, when they needed that first down or they needed the guy because maybe this person was being covered and he couldn't get, maybe double coverage. He was definitely taking advantage of those situations, getting big plays, lots of touchdowns. So I remember his name very, very well. So I'm very excited about having him. You kind of forgot about him a little bit, maybe knocking Flournoy and all them off there. But, could he make the possible practice squad? In that sense, if they can kind of keep him on the hush-hush.
Hide him, man.
Yeah.
He comes in at 6'3", 208, and his college numbers, remember, he was with Alabama. He was a Blue Star recruit and went to Alabama. And he played redshirted. He played a second year. He had 21 receptions for 239 yards and a touchdown, basically as a rookie. Third year, he got banged up. Oregon, as a senior, he had 45 catches, 718 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I don't know. I like.
Think about that. 45 catches, 700. Like that's an interesting ratio.
13 games in 13 games. So I like him. I just he's gonna have to be a stats guy. He ain't gonna. I mean, I don't know. Injuries happen. I don't like. This is the part of the NFL I hate thinking about because you're like, wow, if we can stash somebody or if somebody gets hurt. Well, I don't want nobody to get hurt. Yeah. So it's like, how's he making the team?
I think the practice squad is going to be the thing. I would not be surprised if he was to sneak in some way because he has an amazing camp or he has an amazing
even be one of
preseason.
Those, he's injured and we're not gonna show much of him. If he is what they think in a training camp, and we'll hear it.
Drew blocked himself from seeing my chat. I thought he wanted all the smoke.
Really?
He's a little rough, dirty, little rough sometimes, man. I need to filter that just because I'm like, woo, like I need to go to church the next day. So no. You guys, man, you guys are hilarious. Some of it's harsh, man. You guys hurt my feelings.
So you want? It's coming your way. Dirty. You wanted a mug. It's coming your way.
Please no. I talk? What do you mean I talk? Like wishing or talking? I definitely don't wish anything upon it.
Nah. I don't. I'm just what we're saying is, if that's what you want, that you want the coffee mug, not the travel mug, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, Jay. We were like, I don't know, man. Does he? I don't think he makes
What
this
about
roster.
Ryan Flournoy? He's pretty good. What the hell's a Flournoy? No, yeah, Jay Smooth.
We have like 3 or 4 of them.
I understand what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. There's not enough spots. If everybody remains healthy, which is what we want, there are going to be people being stashed on the practice squad. So, again, Trayshawn Holden, 6'3", 205, went undrafted. It is what it is. We're going to find out. Dirty, I've been smoked, you, so I own you now. I like it. I like it.
Dirty dogging.
It's like, you're going to have to read me. It's YouTube guidelines. You got a kick out of that.
I did. I was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard about that. That was like, I'm like, and it is. They do tell us that we are really supposed to stop everything and got to read those. And I think that's what's hilarious.
Some people wait till the end, but I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's a happy medium. As long as you got a partner who can not like forget himself like I do. You know, like I forget where I gotta just make sure I'm on, because you guys do a super chat, we want to address it. It has something to do with the comments that are going on now, usually not so much that one. Well, it does, but I mean I watch some YouTube channels, Phil, and they wait till the very end and they go back and do all the it's like, well,
that's weird.
when I was on with the NFC East Super Friends, I did a super chat and I never saw it because they go for 3 hours. I was long gone. So anyway, I got something for you can puff on, Drew. Oh, God. It tastes better than jello.
Oh, my God. Dude.
I had to read it. YouTube guidelines. Sorry, bro. Hey, it is what it is. Hurts so good, Phil. Hurts so good.
I think you guys knocked the subjects out of our mouth by this point. Like, it's just I don't even know which way to go with this, man. Like, I feel a little violated a little bit here. So, as we talk about, we can go about this Dallas Cowboys thing. I think in any way, and then I think there's debatable about every single position. Whether you talk about quarterback, whether you talking about running backs, whether you talk about the fullback of Hunter Lemke, I think there's definitely debatable whether you're a fan of the Cowboys or you just hate the Cowboys. You got ammo, man. It's just we're relying on a lot. But as we talk about these guys, the schedule is a big thing. I have Brian's doing his own thing over there. The schedule is going to be a huge thing. I think everybody in this division is going to really try to have to figure out their roster very quickly, because man, it gets tough very, very soon. And the fact that the Cowboys, I think you were bringing it up, the fact that the Cowboys get a Week 10 bye, I think that is huge, man. That pushing it later on, we're always getting those early buys, and it's like
we
haven't even gotten football
this year. That's weird.
Yeah, where they didn't have that one game in September or something.
I like it. I like the schedule the way it sets up. I mean, do I like the worst part of the schedule for me is around the Thanksgiving. That's the bad time, So.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Jay. John Stevens Jr., man, that guy, he's another injury away from disappearing again. I mean, we liked him in the first 2 years. We were getting excited, and then boom, just gone. Boom, just gone, and just really haven't been able to see him. And now, right now, he's in a big room of tight ends that I think they all have potential. I'm not saying that you're going to hit on every single one of them, but at least now you have enough in the room where there's a lot of maybe equal talent, and it's going to be interesting to see who actually shines. Man, I got the hiccups right now. Ooh.
I'm just looking at the chat.
I know. That's kind of the same thing as I am. But we were talking about the schedule. I think we were talking about going back with the schedule. Oh, you're going to go Stevens?
Yeah. No. I was just saying, what I was saying was this, like we're talking about, why are you talking about we don't know much, guys. We don't know much other than what we're seeing over the OTAs and the mandatory OTAs. And I'm giving you the highlighted guys over the last 6 weeks, the last month.
Well,
and that is George Pickens is that guy. That is Brevin Spanford has taken a step, whether you think he has or not. He has taken a step. Tyler Booker. I'm giving you the highlights. I mean,
and that's what worries me as well too, because they put highlights on there. They don't put when they fail, and so that's the part where
yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about from what the coaches and other people are saying, the sports writers who are onlookers, just like we heard that Joe Milton was struggling. It's not like it's all roses. We're just pointing out some of the bright spots. It looks like Brevin Spanford has taken his game to a better level than where it was last year, where he was just freelancer. He is where he was. But they like a few of the players. I mean, Kenneth Murray. I mean, I could go on and on. Kenneth Murray is earned the green dot and has impressed the coaches. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's all we could talk about right now until they actually put pads on.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's what we talk about, what they're talking about. Micah Parsons is a great player, okay? Everybody talks about him stopping the run. Okay, I agree. I wish he was better at stopping the run, but, it is what it is. I mean, hopefully it's better this year. That's all I could say. I don't see how our defense can't be a lot better than it was last year. We were 29th in the league.
Yep. I agree.
Our offensive line was near the bottom. As far it's only going to get better. So I don't understand.
Twiz, you say it right now, but you will stats. You regurgitate stats the moment it benefits you, man. So don't even turn around and say it like
stats, that. I just like wins and losses. So we'll see what happens. It is what it is. Stats are overrated, but stats are stats. You can't throw them in my face and then.
See, that's not a. You say that is that a stat? Then okay, the stat. Well, I can give you a bunch of stats about your team as well too that make it look extremely bad. So it's like, come on, what are you really jumping at there? We're talking about, hey, this person here. This is the reason why we think this. Oh well, gosh, stats, man. Like, well, you have a feeling. Oh my God, a feeling. Like, oh, you play football and you think you may know. Oh, I don't know. Like. Anything. I guess you could joke. Oh, you ate a banana today, and you didn't have a calcium. I don't know what.
Even if Lewis's team stopped the run, Drew. So again, it's going to be better than last year. So get ready. We may not be number one in the league, but we're going to be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, we were terrible against the run. Think about that, Hankins, all that kind of stuff, and. Solomon Thomas, you think that's just going to, Solomon Thomas is just a pass rushing thing. He's just going to let things pass by. Obviously, I feel like we've upgraded in there. Do I think we have an all-pro? Heck no, I don't think we have an all-pro. But at the same time, our roster has gotten better. I don't expect it to be that bad. And I expect if it is, I at least have a little bit of faith in our defensive coordinator that's going to be able to maybe switch some stuff up, change it up. Okay, well, this isn't working. Let's go ahead and try something new. There's NFL experience there. Enough for me to be going, okay, well, he does know how the NFL works. He's not coming in there all blindly, and so, take it as you can, though, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm guaranteed to be better against the run. Yes, Drew, guaranteed. We were 29th last year. I'm guaranteeing we're going to be better against the run. Mm-hmm. All right, guaranteed.
Yeah, and let's be real. if like the one thing that I liked about Al Harris, and I think this is a big thing, and I'm going to say there, Al Harris, what did he do? He also helped with the passing game coordination because he understood how to pass against defensive backs. And so you're going to tell me Clayton Adams is not going to get involved somehow and be like, look, man, this is what you're being attacked at and stuff. You need to switch this. Not to say that he's going to come in there and tell a guy that used to be a head coach and everything and tops and defense how to do stuff, but Clayton Adams knows how to attack defensive lines. So I think I would hope that there's going to be some kind of collaboration there if there was something there. So,
right.
Oh man, look at this! They got to have game 4, right? Game 3.
What's that? Oh yeah, NBA,
yeah. So it's gonna be very interesting. So true. Dallas holds Barkley under 150. See, and that's what to say. You gotta safely say that because even with a good, better defensive line, that's a great offensive line and a great running back. So that's very understandable why he says that too.
He again. They're not going to allow it. Mm-mm. They have a better chance of.
Ultra. You can't say that. That's stats. That's a stat. You can't do that, man. I'm sorry.
Well,
it just doesn't make it.
Jalen Hurts has a better chance of throwing for 300 yards, than, in my opinion, week 1 than Saquon doing that. I just don't think Dallas is going to allow it. But we'll see. We got time to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we won't go into scores right now, Jay Smooth. How dare you? What do you think the score is going to be? No, not until we get some preseason, not until we get some training camps. You know, I need to see some people hit. I need to see if people just getting pushed to the ground and be like, well, that's not the guy that I thought he was. You know, so I'm interested. I'm just interested to get some pads on, hit each other, you know, and I'm hoping that we can get through that without the injuries, because I think that's always
touchdowns. Come on now, book is out on him. Look at the Super Bowl. Book is out. The book is out on Barkley. Now I don't know dude. I don't know. I have to see my team.
Philly, I'm not again. I always think it's funny people say that. Well, we're up by 20. What do you want them to do? Run the ball out?
Going to be on the sideline a lot because our offense is going to be fucking. Barkley is a lock. I didn't realize Kid Cowboy was an Eagle fan. 125 yards. He said 160 and 3 touchdowns. That's like totally different. So it'll be interesting, though. It'll be interesting.
No, Jay,
Jalen Hurts.
You're like smart man, Primetime. I was just testing you. I know, man. I saw it. I was like, that's key, Primetime. Yes, man. Just. And but we're realistic as well. I mean, I understand. I love a lot of the roster. I love the coaching staff, but it still needs to come together. And it could be not year one. I mean, that's the thing is, I want to see them build this. I wish I could see, ahead and be able to see if this thing actually does work out, because that's all it is. It's just they're gambling as well too. Stephen Jones, you don't think, well, I say the Joneses, Jerry, he's coming into that end part, unless he's going to do the Walt Disney thing and, he has the money to kind of keep himself prolonged for a while. See, here we go, Ultra. Best stats is 5 Super Bowls are more than 2. Yeah, man, it's been a while.
It's just going to be funny because when we do what we know we're going to do, I want to see the excuses. Because, when you talk loud like this.
Not going to be a playoffs. Oh, well, but they still suck
a
for
Hamid
playoffs.
situation where they go into hiding. You just got to keep it 100. You got to keep it 100.
Well, we're here as well, too, man. When the team sucked, we still went on our trip. I was enjoying the trip, man.
Yeah.
I didn't take it.
Half of these momos would, would have had something wrong. I can't make the trip. I can't make it. Something came up. My dog, this and that. Nah, man. Nah, we don't do that shit. So we'll be there. Hell or high water.
Oh, Mike Zimmer's okay. Yeah, that was on Mike Zimmer's defense. Yeah, man. It's like, and then again, Mike Zimmer didn't have his personnel. Didn't have he was working with what he had, and so and unfortunately. That was one of those years where Dallas was doing that whole thing. You know what, Mike McCarthy? You're going to need to prove it to us before we do anything for you. And they did exactly what Bryan was saying, is that they don't release the contract. They don't get rid of the guy because, oh, no, we paying every single dollar. That's what's messed up, is that, because they pay it out of their own pocket, they don't want to feel like it's a waste of any kind, And I think that's what we unfortunately had to deal with last year, and then you hit some injuries involved in there. It's like, oh my God, man, there's a Romo. Okay, what's up? Oh,
where's
my
Momo
God.
when we need him? Mark Hudson, what do y'all think about our cornerbacks to start out with? There you go, an actual football question.
Man. Thank you.
Instead of like a bunch of blowhard, boring bullshit. I don't know, Phil. Who do you think will be our starting cornerbacks? Day one? That's why we were thinking maybe go get somebody. But I'm thinking, I don't know if you heard the latest. Trayvon Diggs is saying he's going to be ready for game one. What do you think about that, Phil?
He could be ready for game one. Will he be Diggs? That's the question. I mean, he could be playing out there, but he's still kind of gingered and like, how much is he playing? Is he off on? Like, but yeah, I can see Diggs. I could see Diggs out there in game one. I can see Bland. So it's going to be interesting. Ravel as a third. That would be awesome to see all three of them out there. But realistically, I think Ravel and maybe Diggs. I for some reason feel like Bland's going to be that odd man out, even though people think Diggs is that guy.
Yeah.
So I would love to see all of them there, because I think that's going to be the biggest problem, if not biggest hurdle to get over, is just, when we talk about Gallup and Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, so how much did they actually play together? They didn't really play together very much, all three of them, because there was always somebody hurt. And most of the time that was Gallup. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see these guys all on the field. But I think that's a possibility as long as, we treat them well during training camp. But that's the thing. You don't want to walk on eggshells with these guys, And I think that's the reason why for a lot of these big injuries nowadays in the new millennium is because unfortunately you're kind of taking it easy on them when it comes to practicing. We remember all how practice. Where's your 2-a-days? Where's your 3-a-days? Where's the possibility of so-and-so passed out because of heat exhaustion? You're like, well, you got to drink more water, man. So I would love to get back to that. We're not going to get to that, especially with the whole concussion things and all those protocols. But I don't know. I just don't think we'll ever really be able to get back there unless they kind of take off their training wheels.
Yeah.
So sorry about that little rant. That was more of a back in my day.
It's better than the chat tonight. The chat's horrendous. It's like the same old bullshit.
Man, shots fired from Bryan.
That's just disappointing. Can we have some football questions, or are you just gonna look at yourself in the mirror all day? Jesus Christ.
So Bryan, when you look at these teams who, that were in the playoffs last year, who do you see possibly that's there, that's not going to be? Okay, so somebody that was there last year, but is kind of just took themselves out of the race in your sense of how they were this offseason.
I think that the Vikings could be out.
Really? I think the Vikings did a great job in defense, but again, their quarterback is your question mark, right?
You got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know who their backup is, so I mean, I don't know. I always count them out.
That's a good guess. I mean, Seattle, because didn't they get rid of? Okay, Geno's no longer there. Who's Seattle's quarterback?
Seattle's quarterback?
Yes. So maybe the chat can tell us. Seahawks. I thought they drafted somebody. I knew somebody.
No, they.
Sam Darnold, was it? Yes, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. So do you think Sam Darnold's going to have a year like he did last year with Minnesota, or do you think that that basically his chariot has turned into a pumpkin?
It was already turning into a pumpkin more towards the end of last year. I don't think Seattle is going to be very good this year. I think Oakland's going to be, or Las Vegas is going to be better than Seattle, in my opinion. I think the Rams are going to be good. I don't know about the Commanders. I don't know that the Commanders make the playoffs this year. I know that's an odd thing. I think Dallas takes Commanders' spot. I don't know the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to come down to earth. I just do. So, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Eagles. They have a good, they lost a lot of guys. We'll see. It could go ugly quick out of the gates for them. And if it does, we'll see how much leadership they have. They have a lot of young guys. We will see if they don't get out to the best of starts.
Yeah. And
I've even seen some people saying 2-4. If that were to happen, it could spell doom for them this year.
So I got two questions for you, back and forth. So Jay Smooth says, "Hey, Primetime, how do y'all feel about Jadon Blue? Nobody's really talking about him. I know my opinion on him. I really like him. I think it's finally the response for losing Tony Pollard. And I don't think Tony Pollard was really ever supposed to be a starter. He was supposed to be that complimentary 1-2 punch. It's like one gets one you pound, and then the other one change of pace. You get used to this one running back going to the side. Okay, I'm at the timing. All of a sudden, later on, you put him in. He has that fresh legs, and he gets around that corner because the timing is different. And so I loved him as a change of pace. And of course, with Tony Pollard being gone, I didn't want to sign him to that big, huge contract. So I think this is really good. It's just unfortunately a year too late, but hey, better late than never, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about Blue? My boy Blue.
I like Blue. What I heard about Blue was I heard a lot on the local radio station here that they wanted Jadon Blue in the worst way. They loved him. Howie loved him as a later round guy to come in, to have, as like a third down type of guy. That's what I was told. Didn't know a lot about him until the combine when we saw him run. What did he run? He ran like a what? Like a 4.28 or something like that, or 4.3.
I think it was 4.28. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And that's again with the ball in his hand, and just go back in college and watch what he does in the slot. Again, you can't cover him out of the slot. Get the ball in his hands. We'll see what shot he could do. Again, you want to get the ball in a player like that's hands, and it's going to be tough. It's just tough in the open field. That's one thing I would say Dallas has upgraded is speed on this team.
Yeah, and I think Kid Cowboy, you could be right. I mean, there could be none of these running backs getting 1,000 yards. I definitely do, but I think collectively, I think they could get 2,000 if they really kind of played it.
They'll have one. Yeah, exactly.
So
it don't matter.
It just I really like the interior offensive line more than I like that
yards
roster.
Last year. How'd that get us?
And that was with the worst offensive line. Let's be real. We upgraded with Booker. But Chris May says, how do you – what – and he goes, because we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, so I think he's going to get a more definitive answer here. How about Hunter? Do you think we will get him active more this year? Fullback, tight end, 3?
He may be in trouble.
I think he might be in trouble too. I think he could be either practice squad, chopping block, or in some kind of NFC East rival. Oh my God.
Yeah, Hunter Lepke. I mean, he might get squeezed out, but I don't know. I mean, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders. I don't think it's Hunter Lepke and it's Deuce Vaughn. So
that's true.
My question is, how about Deuce Vaughn?
Man, I think Deuce Vaughn has a possibility of being on the chopping block as well too. You would like to see him get in some situations, which he will in the preseason. But unless they really kind of really open him up to show what he can do, I think, he's definitely a possibility of being on that chopping block. And I think that's a higher possibility than I think with Hunter Lemke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Heisenberg, he's somehow still on this team. We'll see if he is by the end of the season. He says John Stevens and stuff. So, yeah, that's what we were talking about in the sense.
Yeah, man, I don't know if he can come back from that. I'm rooting for him. But I don't think this year is going to be the year. I think he might. I don't think he plays this year, to be honest with you. He had back-to-back devastating knee injuries on his knee. And, it's not like a Overshown where you see Overshown running, and he's doing everything. And I don't think Overshown's going to play for at least 6-8 weeks into the season at the earliest. They're going to be very patient with him. So I don't know about John Stevens. Again, he was always a project. What was so awesome was he was a receiver that they converted to a tight end. Doesn't give you much blocking, but with the addition of Mingo, I just have a weird feeling that we may never see John Stevens play.
Yeah, that's the truth. Mark Hutchins says, I heard they were using Hunter as a tight end, and I mean, to me, it's like an offensive lineman.
Tight end, yeah.
Oh, he played guard and he plays tackle, and they love a guy that can be in multiple positions, and I think. But here's the thing: as much as I like him over there, and is a possibility, I think all those other tight ends could play fullback. Let's be real. They're blocking, they're running downhill, and they're hitting. I think they could probably play fullback and go back and forth. So I think that could be a whole thing there. It's just unfortunately you don't want to put a guy like Jake Ferguson back there. But he did have some really good hands last year. There were some times where I didn't think. I remember there was a first down that he got that he really kind of fingertipped it and stuff. So I got to give him credit. So, Phil, it's 8:39 and Span Ford still can't catch. I like it.
Iceberg Slim, you're really speaking way too much sense for this chat tonight, brother.
Yeah, is he dropping bombs?
Like a statement with that kind of sense is going to fly tonight.
That is the truth, though. Man, that is.
Philly or Dallas can win a division when it comes down to it. Health and luck here and there. I totally agree. Yeah. I totally agree. It's a very tight division. I know Eagle fans don't think it is. I think they're going to see. And I think they're going to be surprised, or deep down they know it. But either way, it's going to be close. Nobody's running away at all. So I'm excited for this year because of everybody's going to be better.
So Philly D says with the super chat, 499, thank you very much. He says, when was the last time 3 contenders and the last place team mightly have the best front 7? Love the NFC East. It is a stacked. It is really is. I mean, you think about the last place team. Let's just go with the last place team. Let's look at the Giants. Look at their defensive line. That is ridiculous, man. That is going to be a tough thing to
is.
run against.
It
I don't
is.
care what kind of offensive line you have. They're going to have some kind of flash plays. It's just sometimes maybe you're going to need to be able to be quicker about it, make these decisions. But you're going to be able to find some success on this team because obviously they have the corners and some of the linebacker where you're like, okay. But man, that front seven is very, very hard, and that's the last place team. So I think you're one that
know what I heard a lot about, man? Not to change the subject, but we're talking about defensive line here with that super chat. We picked up a guy out of Maryland, Tommy Akinbisote. They were saying like what a freak he is, man. I mean how much of an athlete this dude is. Him and Easy are best of friends. Yeah, Ezaraku. So 6'3", 310 pounds, but he's such an athletic defensive tackle that's just scraping the surface. I'd be curious to see if he makes the team or if I don't know if he makes the practice squad. That's the thing. So I don't know, but just remember that name. Tommy Akinbisote. He's an African dude from dude is pretty incredible. And Eberflus just you really can't say enough about the guy. So I'm excited to see a guy like him get some some run. There's a lot of guys we have on that defensive line that nobody's really talking about. And they say we got nobody can do this, nobody can do that. We know defensive ends are stacked, but I think I would love to get another.
We got more
defensive.
bodies. Here's the thing: is we got more bodies than defensive tackles. We're not saying that we have the answer here, but at least we have options now. At least it's just not sitting there going, okay, well, what do we do now? We can't get Hankins back and stuff. So I think that just having more bodies, at least that gives you something. That doesn't mean I say it again. It doesn't mean you have the answer, but hell, at least you have some kind of solution to put forward.
You got Justin Rogers in year 2, right? He didn't even play hardly last year. He's 6'3", 350. He's a big boy, and then you went out and got Jay Tuia, who's 6'4", 345. I mean, we got some guys who could stop the run. It's just we'll see how they fit, in this system. That's the thing. You know who I'm curious to see about too? Again, Peyton Turner we got out of New Orleans. He's been an often injured guy, but he's 6'6", 270. Nobody's really thinking anything about.
Well, you were pointing it out. I think I was watching your video where you were pointing out Eberflus was talking about these guys coaching the young guys like Easy and how Turner and them were doing that. I think that's huge. When you're seeing it even in this camp, and I know it's a different thing. That doesn't mean anything for victories and stuff, but at least you can see them smiling. I think that's the biggest thing is like the culture there. They're competing. They're having fun. They're making it football fun again. I think that's just incredible. Can always lead to wins with that. Again, it doesn't guarantee anything, but I just love the direction that they are going.
But again, I just want to. This is out to my Cowboy fans. Don't worry about the haters and people who don't know.
Yeah, Cowboy. I don't know, man. I'm going to start questioning you as well too in that sense of your Cowboy liking. He says Russell, Nabor, Scatterbo. He was talking about how offense for the Giants will be able to be competitive, and I think in some way. I mean, you got a better quarterback. You don't got Daniel Jones back there.
Neighbors has been hurt all offseason,
and they got at least another wide receiver to go with Neighbors. But
I like him.
But you still got a really questionable offensive line. I think that's where I question as tackles and stuff. Where how are you going to give time for Russell Wilson to do that? But again, he is a better option. It's just
I like the Giants. I've been higher on the Giants than anybody over the last 2 years, and they keep adding talent. But at what point does it have to actually mean wins on the field? And Giants have a horrendous schedule this year, so I don't think they get more than 7 wins. If they can get to 8 wins, it'll be a miracle.
Bobby Murphy says he goes Eagles 4th-round pick, defensive tackle Ty Robinson.
Yeah, I like Ty Robinson.
I like him. I think he's a good.
See,
rotation.
Bobby, I could be positive. See, that's the difference between me and some of you guys. I could be positive about the Eagles, and I take pride in learning about the players of the other team rather than just hating the star and say, you guys can't do this or you guys can't do that. That's like, you got to do your homework, man. You can't. I like Ty Robinson. Now, it's all been what? With shorts and T-shirts? You know, I mean, there's a reason why he went where he was. We'll see what he looks like, you know, but so far it looks great. I liked him when they picked him. I did. So.
Anyways, I think it's just, very random on the subjects of what we're talking about, just because, like, it is the off season. We're, until we see people hit each other, and even when, for example, I'm going to point this out, and I don't mean to be nice. Let's just be real. Even when I hear Ringo talk, where, Ringo's getting blown out. Well, who's he getting blown out by? Is he going to get blown out by A.J. Brown? Is he getting blown out by one of their big receivers and stuff like that? And guess what? I'm not really judging that much. He's going. He's going to. I expect him to. When I hear Pickens, destroying our corners and stuff like that, I'm like, yep, not really surprised there. Just because, who do we have? We don't have a lot of people out there that are starters. Bland, Biggs, all those guys. So
Bland is looking great. They're saying, but they're going to be ease him. He's looking great. He's ready to roll. I was surprised to hear that Diggs is shooting for week 1. So I hope that's the case, because I need him to play,
and that's okay, Cowboy. We don't need anybody to be scared of us. That doesn't motivate them. That's not a motivation. That's like, it could be whatever. Like that by the end of the season, if Dallas has done something, then guess what? They caused something to be scared. It's understandable why you could talk that trash. It's they got to do something about it. But I can honestly say this is not the same team that ended last year. No, not at all. Not at all. So, Brian, anything you want to say to the chat before we get out of here? We kind of just it's a little negative tonight. Let's just be real, man. A lot of negativity. Yeah. It's disappointing. But hey, it is what it is, man. I hate to see it, but it is what it is. No, man, I'm good. This is like the downtime. This is the downtime of the season. Now we got to wait a good 6 weeks. There's plenty of time to be negative, but come on this show and just be just negative. It's rude, but hey, you guys can do what you want. I'm not going to be that way. I won't be negative towards your team until it's time to be negative. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a big one. You don't know, even when we're talking about the Giants and their tough schedule and everything, and they do have a better roster put together than they did last year. But again, is anybody saying Super Bowl? I don't think I was saying it as well too. So it's like, okay, what do we want to get to the playoffs, man? We want to be contenders in the playoffs. We won't know what type of team we have until they get out in that field and start playing. And then guess what? That first game matchup is a tough one, and definitely a good starting, measuring stick of where you're going to be, if the defending Super Bowl champions, and not many roster switchover. I mean, obviously you talk about the defense, but when you talk about the depth of what they had, those guys are still there as well too. So that's something that the Lions, I think, ran into. They had some amazing depth. The problem is they got past that depth and they had to start pulling people from the crowd. It's like, okay, the guy in row 415s, and they're like, come on down, you're going to be the offensive lineman for this game. Like, that's kind of what it is. And as much with some of that stuff that they were doing last year with trying to trick the referees, I'm the eligible guy, I'm not, whatever, man, I'm not, I think what I bring that up because when we were talking with Detroit fans, we were at that draft and stuff, they were bringing that up like crazy. Like somehow Dallas just did something and not giving their team at all the fact that they were trying to be sneaky and it backfired. No, not at all. It's the refs. They automatically give it to them. It is. So I'm interested to see how Detroit is able to bounce back. Are they going to be up there for that first seed like they were last year, or do they take a step back? So you were talking about how Minnesota, I think that's a big possibility. The defense seems stacked, though. It's just, will it be enough? Analyze these teams, really yet. It really is hard to tell right now. I mean, it just is. When I look at, the teams in the NFC, I'll just focus on. You got Detroit. I think they're going to be good. I do. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I was about to cry. He says, great input. Keep it up. Thanks. I appreciate it. Actually talking football. I like the Bears, but they were a 5-win team, but I think that division is going to rival the East as being the best division in football. I just do.
I don't think the Saints are going to be very good. I think Carolina stinks. I think Atlanta's middling. And I think Tampa and Atlanta are probably going to fight for that division. And I don't think either one of them are going to be great. I think the Rams are only as good as Matt Stafford. I think they're talented. But I think the Niners have such an easy schedule that... But, again, I'm not scared of anybody. I guess it would be the Rams and the Niners coming out of there.
Yeah, the Rams. The Rams did improve. I mean, didn't they get another wide receiver? Adams, wasn't it Devontae Adams?
Yeah. But I mean, and I like the Rams. Don't get me wrong, I do. I think they're the best, and then I think the Niners will be, just because their schedule is like a college team schedule. It's just ridiculously easy,
Yes,
so,
Joe DeMasi, they do.
The Rams, Tampa, Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay, Eagles, Dallas, maybe Washington. I think Washington takes a step back. That's kind of where I'm looking at.
So think about that, Kid Cowboy. Number 4 was gone last year, and how well they were. So, I mean, I know we didn't, Trey Lance and Cooper Rush and everything, but until there's a guy there that's legitimately can be that starter, you kind of have to deal with it, man. It's just, I just don't think they truly, there has been times, don't get me wrong, there has definitely been times where they built a team around him and they should have won. But, until now, I think it's like Romo, where Romo wasn't better until the end of his career, and so it might be there. I think Dak can still have like another 3 or 4 years, but it's really going to depend on him, So if he's put in that situation,
Wagner's going to take a step back, Kid Cowboy. Learn the game, bro. They didn't do anything to add. They got 5 draft picks. Their defense stinks. What are you looking at?
I don't think you said
a schedule last year, bro.
Yeah, give me one positive about it. It has nothing. You have nothing on that. Like you're talking about wide receivers,
like
everything
Momo.
negative. What? There's no positives. There's no. If we get rid of Dak, then if we got rid of Dak and got another quarterback in there, all that negativity you just had just goes away. And now we have a team because that number 4 is gone. Like again, man, he needs a team around him. Hell yeah, he does. But he also needs a defense to show up in the playoffs.
Hey,
Let's
Jesse,
be real.
how are you, brother? 30 years. What does that have to do with this year? Put down the bottle.
Dude, that's
go
what I'm
sell
saying.
A fifth wheel or something.
We're not. Am I running the team, Kid Cowboy? What are you talking about, dude? We're talking about the roster that's in front of us. They changed the roster. They changed the coach. They changed all this stuff. What do you want them to do? Oh, and I want to change the quarterback. Well, guess what? They're stuck in a contract. It's like, they can't walk away from it. Oh, well, they can just drop it. It's just you're talking. You're just talking. That's all it is. And it's just not a negativity. I mean, that's just what all this episode has been about. It's just all this negativity coming out, man. It's like, I understand 30 years. We're as frustrated as you. But damn, man, can we not get positive about our damn team?
We can.
Yeah.
We can. They can say whatever they want.
You have nothing to stand on? I have a lot to stand on. So, like, how are you a Kid Cowboy? What kind of name is that? What is that? You're like 66 is your IQ? Like, what is that? Like, I don't know, man.
Man, you pissed off Phil, Kid Cowboy.
Come on, man. It's just like, I'm not gonna block you or anything.
Nah, we don't block anybody. We'll just tell you you're an idiot or not. We don't agree with you, Kid Cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any positivity. Every single one of it is negative. But number 4 is that for the reason. Well, be positive. Be positive on other stuff. What about our kicker? Anything? No, exactly. Get out of here.
He sucks. He could only make him over 50.
See, that's all your thing is stop. Just stop. Oh, just stop. Just stop talking about me. Just stop. Just stop. How about you just leave? I don't give a shit. So when I look at this team, I get positive about the future, and I definitely get positive about with the coaches here. Now, whether they have their roster and it's going to take a couple of years.
We need some positivity, brother. Thank you, Randy.
So Randy says, if the Cowboys go in and upset the Eagles, they will get no credit, and that's the truth. It will be said that they have to win the playoffs, but even Randy understands that. It's just like that's what we are looking at this
Jesse,
year.
You can hit
we
the
even
road
get
too
there?
if you support him. How's that, big guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Like, I understand that you can have your whole thing, that the 30 years and what they're running it. Guess what? They're not going anywhere. If you're a Cowboy fan, then leave. because the Joneses are not going anywhere. Stephen Jones is going to be the next one, and you think it's going to be better on that sense? Man, no. So it's just like, again, like, I understand your whole 30 years, but again, it's 5 Super Bowls. How's everybody else in the division not like caught up?
What's up, Logan?
In that
How
sense,
are you?
you know. So, you know, where's yours? It's been way past 30 years in existence. So, again, man, I'm just. Oh, okay, Jesse. Remember that, dude. You remember that. Because the next time we talk on the thing, I'm not going to be as nice. I'm going to be real with you.
You won't be the guest on my channel anymore, big guy.
Yeah. So it's like
later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like you can
Bye-bye.
have it. Like I'm more support. I'm more in the sense of these Eagle fans, and they're coming in here. So
yeah, can't do it, man. Can't.
Well, I mean, let's be real, man. You come in at a time where everybody else being negative and everybody's all harping on each other, and then you come in here with that stuff, and you got nothing to back you up other than 30 years. It's all like, well, I could talk about Detroit and never having one. What's that? You know, it's like a different team. I understand that, but I got to compare it to something. What do I have? You know, so do I love how they're doing it? No, if you've ever come in here and watched these episodes, you understand how we constantly criticize the Joneses and you can't do free agency and not have with a draft. It's just like, no, don't do free agency. Do we give them excuses? Hell no. We rip them when it's happening, and we've ripped the quarterback as well.
How are you,
dude?
brother?
Did we want Dak to stay here? No, we would have rather moved on. But guess what? He signed, man. There's nothing we can do other than. Is he the quarterback at least that can win? I think so. Has he proven that yet? I don't know.
Like we're no better than the Browns. Browns have never won a Super Bowl.
See,
what are you talking about?
Again, just comments.
What are you
just
talking
comments.
about?
You know.
I don't even know why he said it. Why did they even say it? It's just so foolish that I don't know, man.
So, anyways, when I look at this team. Like it's not the same team. Let's be real. The injuries, I'm hoping that these guys come back. Yes, we're hoping. We're hoping that Diggs comes back and is able to become Diggs again. I'm hoping Overshown comes back and actually is able to play a full season. We've talked about it. If you ever watched any of this stuff, we've talked about how it doesn't have the best oversight when it comes to Overshown. When he comes here, is he going to stay healthy? I totally get in that sense, but man, you can't tell me that it's not talent. There's nothing happening. There's nothing to get excited about. We're not a possible playoff team. Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, I hear you, Phil. I hear you, brother. It was a downer tonight, but whatever. We appreciate everybody that's spending time with us.
Well, even I appreciate Kid Cowboys talking the trash. Let's be real, man. That's a good thing. You should feel like if you feel it, say it. That's why we don't block you and we don't say that stuff. Yeah, and I understand that stuff.
Every time, though. You got to come up with something new.
Yeah, I know, and that's the part that I say with these caveman stuff. Just
can't keep putting the same narrative out there. We're trying to talk about what's going on and what could possibly be, and it's like my father, all over again, saying the same old stuff. When it's like, and then when they won in '92, it was like, well, why are you talking your shit now?
No, but that's the thing is you're gonna have
you're not
that.
Allowed you'll have to tell my dad you can't root for him now. You were shitting on him. Well,
and that's the truth though. You have some of those fans that are like that. Everything is negative up until the point
next year.
Yeah, up until the point they win the championship, and they're like, even that's negative. It's like, oh, he's not anything like that. It's just everything is negative. I know Cowboy fans like that. I've seen them. I've seen them where it's just negative the whole season. And I get it, the 30 years, but again, during those times
when it was all along.
Oh, okay. I knew it all along. Yeah, well, because the odds are in favor that you're not going to win the Super Bowl. Only one team wins it.
It's funny.
Would I put my mortgage on us winning a Super Bowl this year? Hell no. But I at least think we're possible.
The season opener.
Oh, man,
Joe, I don't think I'm streaming games. I think I'm doing post game. I think we're gonna do a post game. I think I'm still working on it. I have to figure it out, man. I got a couple months to figure it out, but that's where I want to go with it. I may stream some games during the week that have nothing to do with Dallas or Eagles, and just stream some games. Mm-hmm. But here and there, that's probably where I'm going. It's a lot. I don't, it's a lot to. Phil knows to sit there and it's a long day just sitting there, sitting in
I don't
one
know, Jesse,
spot.
man. No. You're as much as you want to be, and you're just kidding and everything like that. There's times and places and stuff like that. And if you hear me going off like this, and you want to jump in on that, then that's what you are. You know, and so, like, again, I've been a very supportive person about your Giants and shit. I could rip them a new one. Remember, you were last in the
Welcome
division.
to go, Jesse. I mean, nobody's keeping you here, bro. We brought you in. Just you don't, that wasn't cool.
So it's just always
Nobody's
always timing
keeping
on
you.
my part. But anyways, Brian, anything you really want to say? I'm just kind of done.
Man, we
I'm
covered
done.
it all.
Yeah.
We covered all the crap tonight, but it was fun. Kinda.
Yeah, I don't know about that shit. I do appreciate the support, though. Let's be real, man. You guys do kick ass, even if they're talking your trash. It is very much welcome and stuff because that's football. That's how it is. But at the same time, I don't hate any of you guys, and I'm not gonna like ban any of anybody. It's just you're allowed to.
You guys just took negative and just like nobody. We weren't even talking about what the season was going to be. We were just talking about some of our young guys, and then it just turned negative.
Can't have that. You can't be talking
Every
about
once in a while it does that, and I'm not in for that. So you guys can go hang out with the Big Sills, and that's probably where you need to be. So anyway,
no more
thanks,
elevators.
Philly D.
Exactly.
I appreciate you. You're a class act, Philly D.
Thank you, Philly D. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate the super chats as well. And Again, I'm trying to get back onto the track of when the stream starts, trying to shout out everybody that's in the chat and stuff. And so that's I kind of got away from that, and so I apologize. I'm still trying to perfect this, and I still got a long ways to go. Let's be real, man. It's just as I mature, hopefully you guys.
I know.
Can,
Well,
mature
we
with
take
me.
pride in looking to the chat, but a lot of other channels don't. So we do. But some people are.
Well,
have more
it
class
gets to the
than
point. Some of
others.
them are. Some of those chats are flying by. I haven't had that quite a success yet, too. So, but anyways, Brian, I appreciate you coming through, man. It's gonna be a heck of a new off season in the sense we got OTAs out of the way. And the next way is training camp.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, man.
And how many days away are you keeping track of that?
Hey,
I appreciate that, Randy. Hit the like button on the way out, or you can hit the dislike button. That's cool too. I don't mind it.
YouTube doesn't care.
Yeah.
Let's see. Figure we got. Let's see, 17. You figure 17, 18, 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. 83 days.
Yeah, you guys take it
83
easy.
days.
And yeah, Mark should start here. So.
Yeah,
You guys-
he's on there now.
Yeah. So you guys take care. I wish you guys the best. I don't mean any harm will against anybody, but you guys all suck as well too.
Hey, you gotta listen, man. You can run your mouth all you want. I don't gotta listen to it.
I
That's the
know,
difference.
Ultra, and I will. It's just I got some certain guys. Span 4 is going to be probably one of them in this year, and we can definitely agree or disagree on that one. So one of us is going to be right this year. So odds are probably you are, but I'm still going to ride that train. So anyways, everybody, I appreciate
Looking
we
for a
coming
new
through.
Giant content creator.
Yeah.
Looking
I'll
for
put it
a
out
new
there.
giant content. A guy, hit me up.
All right, guys, you guys take care,
All right.
and I wish you nothing but the best. But one thing I do appreciate you not forgetting to do is ring that bell. You guys take care.
That was ominous.
What the was that?
What the is this?
Move it like this, move it like that. Si tú quieres ven para acá o voy para allá. Que me gusta la manera que tú lo mueves, cómo te entregas, cómo lo bailas. Okay, move it like this, move it like that. Si tú quieres ven para acá o voy para allá. Que me gusta la manera que tú lo mueves, cómo te entregas, cómo lo bailas.
Con J-Con y con la matrícula. Ella comparte amigas, dice que todo se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile y baby. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo ve